welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshav Anand Prabhuji to enlighten us on special topic Gaura Purnima on special day, that is the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I wish you all of you very happy Gaura Purnima. And Keshavananda Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I think happy God Purnima to all of you. Tomorrow, I think, I don't know about America, but tomorrow is the God Purnima here in India. But nevertheless, it's nice to speak on Lord Chaitanya and listen about him. So, I'm privileged to speak on Lord Chaitanya. And it was nice when they requested me to speak on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we can remember him for some time now. I'll try to remember Lord Chaitanya, and in the process, we all can remember. Okay, so let me just offer obeisances to Prabhupada, and then Oma Gyanate Manandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedamanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Vaishchadesh Tarine. So, well, when we talk about Lord Chaitanya, there are many questions. Of course, there are many questions, and there are many feelings. There are many doubts. At the same time, there are many convictions and emotions and ecstasy. So, to balance Lord Chaitanya, to balance this avatar in our minds, that needs quite amount of scriptural knowledge and a lot of association, especially in this age. Most of the work is done by Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to help us understand this incarnation, and not only understand but accept him. So we'll talk about all these questions in details in this talk. Okay, so the first question is, who is Lord Chaitanya? That's the whole point there. Is he just a Bengali historical revolutionary figure who started a bhakti movement 520 years ago, and that's it? Is he that much, or is he a saint who came and he preached about devotion and its intricacies, or a revolutionary, as historians see him, who distributed this bhakti to everybody without considering caste, creed, and anything else? So who is he? Well, to understand this in him, we have to first go in history. And when we understand the history, then we can understand who is he. Now, as far as history of spirituality goes, I mean to say, leaving aside yoga tradition, Sankhya tradition, and other traditions, I'm just talking about bhakti tradition. As far as that goes, it starts with Ramanuja. Of course, you can always argue it starts with Alvars 5,000 years ago. But of course, Alvars are included in Ramanuja's system. And Ramanuja was a person who actually made these Alvars known to this world widely. After after Nathamuni, Ramanuja was a person who preached and made people known about these Alvars in a very philosophical way, and So in a way, people can accept it through evidences of scriptures. Now Ramanuja, he was the first tradition, and he actually uh, most of his works it went in refuting Mayavad, because at that time Shankaracharya system was Shankaracharya system had taken India by storm. Everybody was a follower of Shankara. Everybody means everybody. There were no Jainism. Jainism was pushed out. Buddhism was thrown out of India. Karam, it was just shoved in some corner, and people were accepting Mayavad. So at that time, Ramanuja came and he fought, he struggled, and he established Vaishnavism. Can anybody please check? So somebody has to mute because voice is coming. Uh, so so that's a point there. So Ramanuja, he started Sri Vaishnavism, and he actually established a system of Vishisht Advaita, a system of devotional philosophy. It was a devotion, but then what he did was, devotion was there before him, but the whole point was, according to Shankaracharya, they said, well, devotion is all about sentiments. There is no philosophical and logical system. So Ramanuja gave devotion a philosophical system and a logical system. So Ramanuja came, and then afterwards, after Ramanuja came around 10th and 11th, yeah. So Ramanuja came 11th century, around 11th century. And then afterwards, Madhvacharya came, who established Dvaita philosophy. He again preached about devotion, and he established devotion on Dvaita system. On his philosophical system is called as Dvaita. So we need not go in details of what these systems are, but the whole point is, he came and he also established devotion on very, very, very strict logic. That was his uniqueness. In his system, logic and emotions and feelings come together very intricately and very strongly. And then after Madhvacharya came, some people say Nimbarkacharya. So Madhvacharya came in 13th century. And then after Madhvacharya came who is this? Nimbakacharya. Some people say Nimbakacharya came after Madhva. Some people say before him. There are arguments, but anyway, let's put it like this. Nimbakacharya came, and Nimbakacharya, he also gave his system of philosophy and devotional system, and his system was Dvaita Dvait, and he preached about devotion of God. That's what. But in his system, devotion was little more more expressed in terms of rasa. He introduced the concept of rasa there. In Ramanuja and Madhva system, the concept of rasa is there, but it's hidden. They talk about liberation. Nimagacharya talked about rasa and mellows. Of course, he talked also about liberation, but he talked about rasa and mellows. And then after Nimagacharya came Vallabhacharya, who actually established his system of Shuddha Advait, and he again gave a very devotional system, and his system was Shuddha Advait, and he actually focused on so more on spontaneity in devotion. That's what he focused on. I mean to say, Ramanuja and Madhva and Nimbarka, they were talking about, okay, there is rasa, there is liberation, but then you have to follow strict rules and regulations and a system. So Madhva's and Ramanuja's system of devotional practice was more. It seemed more ritualistic. There are processes, there are rules. I mean to say, rules are also there. in our system, but there are elaborate rules, elaborate yagyas, elaborate processes. So externally, it seems as if something ritual is going on. But Vallabhacharya came. He said, "Well, okay, fine. This is okay. Rituals are okay, but the whole point is spontaneity of the heart. That's where we have to reach. That's more important than this external thing." So he brought devotion internal rather than basing it on external things. Uh, and then, of course, came so Vallabhacharya came in 15th century, uh, for it's 15th century, and then Mahaprabhu came. Now Mahaprabhu comes in 1486. He appears in 1486 on this day, Gaur Day. And why he appears, that's the whole question. Why he's appearing after so many acharyas have established devotion, have defeated Mayavad, have given a cogent, a strong philosophical basis to devotional service, have expressed devotional sentiments in form of rasa. It's pretty much done. So why Mahaprabhu has to come? Now the whole point is it's not done. There was something which was left, which the world didn't know, and which was the highest summit of devotional service. That was still left, the peak. I mean to say, these acharyas helped us climb the mountain, but then we couldn't really see the peak of the mountain, and we have to reach the peak to uh, to uh, to actually host the flag of devotion, to throw the flag of Kali from that mountain, and then host our flag of devotion. But then we couldn't see the peak. That's the whole point. We couldn't see what is the highest limit of devotion. That was a question for everyone, still left unanswered for all sampradayas. Till what extent a jivatma can go or advance in devotional service? What is the extent that he can advance and he can he can he can achieve in his devotional practice uh, with his ordinary effort and also with the extraordinary efforts? What is the end? Where's the end? Or it is endless? Or is there some end where you can perceive the endless? Uh, these are the questions, by the way. And here comes Lord Chaitanya, and he says, yes, I'll give you the highest limit of devotional service. The highest limit which Jiva Atma can maybe not achieve, but it can appreciate. He showed us the peak. And he also showed us the way to reach that peak. He showed us the way. That's the whole point. Before that, I mean to say, people couldn't even see the peak of the mountain, what to achieve it. But people who even saw the peak, like Vallabha system, Nimbarka system, they said it's impossible to achieve that. But Mahaprabhu came and he said, you can achieve it. Now, there is a secret to that, how to achieve that. We will talk in a moment. But Mahaprabhu said yes. And Mahaprabhu, he actually took the best of all sampradayas. He took it. He said, well, okay, fine, I'm going to give a system. But the system will incorporate the best of all four sampradayas. Let's do it. Let's not start from scratch. That's foolishness, because people have done their work. Madhva, Ramanuja, Nimbaka, Vallabha, they have done something. And they have given us nice things. So let's take the best out of them and then develop a system on the basis of that. Because it is foolishness to reinvent the wheel, and then you spend your whole time in reinventing the wheel, and then you don't have any time to establish what you have come to give. So Mahaprabhu said, okay, fine, let's take two things from each sampradaya. Two things. And then we will develop on that. So from Ramanuja Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu took two things. And the first was Ananya Bhakti. That's what he took, Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti means Ananya means unalloyed devotion. This word Prabhupada uses, unalloyed devotion. That's the concept which he took from Ramanuja. I mean to say, see, all the concepts are there in all sampradayas. But each sampradaya focuses on particular aspect of devotion. Every concept has to be there in every devotional sampradaya because when you start understanding devotion, uh, you need concepts to achieve perfection. But the whole point is every sampradaya focuses on uh, different aspects of devotion service according to time, place, circumstance. So, so the whole point was he took Ananya Bhakti, which Ramanuja focuses a lot, and a lot. That means unalloyed devotion. That means we are just focused on Lord Vishnu, or Vishnu Tattva, that is Krishna, or Ram, and we don't worship anybody else. No demigods, no demigods, no demigods. Ramanuja even said once that Ananya Bhakti means if you are on a street and you encounter a lion, and then there is a Kali temple nearby, or a Shiva temple, and the door is open and you can just run inside and shut the door and you'll be saved. And there is nothing else. And there's a lion and you, face to face on the street. But the lion is a little far off and you have time to run in the room and close the door. So what do you do? Well, Ramayana says, well, encounter the lion, forget Shiva and Kali. We are not going to enter Shiva or Kali temple and take their shelter because we are devotees of Lord Vishnu. Better die. That is Ananya Bhakti. You see the point? Mahaprabhu took from him that. And the second thing he took from Ramanuja Sampradaya was Vaishnav Seva. Vaishnav Seva, Ramanuja Sampradaya focuses a lot and a lot and a lot on Vaishnav Seva. And took that point, okay, serve devotees. From Madhva Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu took two things. And that was, first was deity worship. That is Arch Vigraha Puja. The deity worship, the worship of the form of Lord, which Madhva focuses a lot, and also Mayavad Khandanam. Ramanuja defeated Mayavad, refuted, but Madhvacharya came in 13th century. He said Ramanuja didn't do a good job of defeating Mayavad. So here I am the born enemy of Mayavad. And Madhva took Shankara's commentary and he read every statement of Shankara's commentary. And as he read them, he read it and he just flipped it upside down. That's what he was doing. That's it. That's his commentary. You take Shankara commentary and you flip it upside down. And if Shankara says Brahman is formless, you flip it upside down, you say Brahma is not formless. If Shankara says logic is supreme, you flip it upside down, you say logic is not supreme. And if Shankaracharya says devotion, bhakti sentiments are not above logic, you flip it upside down and you say devotional sentiments are above logic. So when Shankaracharya says you have to meditate on Brahman, you flip it upside down and you say you don't have to meditate on Brahman. You see the point? That's if you read Madhva commentary, you will find he just flipped it upside down. I mean to say you can put Shankara's commentary in a software and you can give a command, flip every statement upside down. What is positive, make it negative. What is negative, make it positive. And when you get the commentary out of your computer, that will be Madhva's commentary. That's what Madhva's commentary is. It's interesting. I mean to say, if you get a chance, you can read his commentary, and that will be interesting. So Mahaprabhu took the second point, Mayavad Khandanam, from Madhvacharya. And of course Archvigraha Puja. These 2 points from Madhva Sampradaya. And then he took 2 points from Nimbak Sampradaya. And from Nimbak Sampradaya, he took the point of Gopi Bhava. Gopi Bhava he took from Nimbak Sampradaya. The devotion of gopis to Lord Krishna, which is the highest of all. He took from that. And the second he took was from Nimbak Sampradaya was Parakiya Bhava. Actually, Nimbak Sampradaya talks about Sokiya Bhava. Uh, yeah. So of course he took Gopi Bhav in Bhakti Sampradaya, and also he took Swakiya Bhav also, but then he changed it into Parakiya Bhav. The relationship of gopis and Krishna, unmarried gopis, I mean to say even married gopis, but they are related to Krishna. Of course, Nimaka Sampradaya focuses on Swakiya Bhav, where gopis are married to Krishna uh, in some other dimension. But then they also talk about Parakiya Bhav, and Mahaprabhu takes that. And then from Vallabha Sampradaya, he took 2 points. And the first and very important point was Pushti Marg. Pushti Marg means Vallabhacharya recommended. Devotion is all about the flow of heart and sentiments. It's not about rituals. Rituals support. Rituals are a superstructure which are required to nourish and culture our emotions for Krishna. And that's what Mahaprabhu said. When Ramanand Rai proposed Varnashrama, Mahaprabhu said, Eho bhaiye. It's external. Mahaprabhu didn't reject it. Eho nahi. He said, Eho bhaiye. It is external. Varnashrama supports. But what is a main essence? An essence is devotional sentiments which a devotee carries for the Lord. But those sentiments are well established on this structure, just as a building is established on the foundation and a structure of beams. A building is actually supported by beams. So yeah, of course, we need the support of this whole structure, rituals, and varnashrama. It is favorable. But at the same time, bhakti is independent of it. They are actually favorable for nourishing bhakti. But then what is bhakti? Then Mahaprabhu, then Vallabhacharya says, well, fine. That is actually spontaneous flow of emotions towards Krishna. That is bhakti. So that is pushti mark. Pushti means nourishing. Pushti means nourishing through mercy. The path of grace. That's how they translate as. So Mahaprabhu took this, the path of grace, pushti mark, and he gave it another name, which is called as Raghunava Bhakti, which is actually the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gave it another name, Raghunava Bhakti. And then he tied this Raganuga Bhakti with Vaidhi Bhakti, which actually Vallabh Sampradaya don't do. And he told us through Vaidhi Bhakti, how through practice of Vaidhi Bhakti we enter Raganuga Bhakti, and that is the ultimate aim of life, because through Raganuga Bhakti we can achieve Bhava Bhakti. Otherwise we cannot. We can also, material devotion says, but then we will enter into a different mood of Aishwarya. But we will not enter the mood what Mahaprabhu came to give us. So that is, so from Vallabh Sampradaya he takes this pushti mark, and then second thing from Vallabh Sampradaya he takes is what he takes, I just forgot. From Vallabh Sampradaya what he takes, pushti mark, and the second thing he takes is yeah, I think it just missed from my mind. I'll just tell you when I go forward. But if anybody remembers, they can tell me. But I think so. It's just missing from my mind. Pushti mark, and the second thing is anyway, I just forgot it. I'll just tell you. But anyway, so these two things he takes from all sampradayas, he combines them, and he makes his own philosophy, which is called Achinte Bheda Vitat, and then he develops on them and gives higher concepts of the bhava of Radharani. That was his concept. Radha is the highest pinnacle of devotion. That was the question. Where is the peak? Now, the peak can be found in the personality of Radha, the ultimate limit of devotion. Was what's that? Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Kamone Janaite Yadi Gaur na hoite tabu kui hoite Kamone Dharitamte. So one of the singers of Lord Chaitanya, personal singer Vasudev Ghosh, he sings this song. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not there, then who would have told us who is Radha and what is her love, and how her love is super excellent, and it is the limit of the limitless. It's the highest. Nobody can surpass her love. And a Jivatma can achieve or at least appreciate her love. Not exactly achieve, but appreciate her love. And also in certain cases achieve it, but in a very indirect way. How to do that, I'll talk in a few moments. But that's what Mahaprabhu gave us. The the limit of devotion, the highest limit, Radha's love. He showed this is the greatest devotee of Lord. And if we follow her path of devotion, if we do devotion like her, try to do, then we will follow in her footsteps and we can easily attain Krishna. Uh, and that's what Mahaprabhu gave. So Mahaprabhu gave this concept of Radha Prem, and he also gave this concept of Madhurya Bhav, because Radha's love for Krishna is Madhurya. Now here's a point I mean to say. Other acharyas, previous acharyas, they talked about devotion, but they didn't really touch upon the subject of Madhurya Bhav. Now, now, if you read the history of Ramanuja, Madhva, Nimbar, Vallabh, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will see this. So you will see Mahaprabhu planned it like that. We know Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and he planned his coming, his avatar into this material world, and he prepared his coming through all the acharyas. And that's why he asked every one of the acharyas to reveal a particular sentiment in this word and stop there. So if you read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Navdeep Mahatmya, you will see that Ramanuja came to Navdeep, Madhva came to Navdeep, and they actually met Mahaprabhu. I mean to say, you might say 13th and 11th century Mahaprabhu was not there. But at the same time, Mahaprabhu revealed himself in their meditation in Navdeep. And Mahaprabhu, and they, so Mahaprabhu gave his teachings to Ramanuja and Madhva, but then Mahaprabhu also said, well, you keep these teachings with you yourself. When I will come, I will reveal them. You do what you are asked. So Madhva and Ramanuja, they actually revealed, they actually focused on Das Seras. And then comes along Vallabhacharya, he focused on Sakheras more. Many of the saints in Vallabh Sampradaya, they are Sakhe, Bhav, Kumbhandas, and then other Ashtachap. Nimbakacharya, he gave us he then actually developed it to Vatsalya Ras, and some glimpses of Madhurya Ras. And then Mahaprabhu comes along, he just focuses on Madhurya Ras. And he say and then he says all of the rasas, Das Sakhe, Vatsalya, they are there to serve Madhurya Ras in Vrindavan. That's the concept he brought. They are there, yes, we know they are there, but then they are there to serve the Madhurya Ras. That's what he said. And so this is a historical progression of philosophies and of rasa, and it finds its ultimate pinnacle in Lord Chaitanya's avatar. You see the point. Mahaprabhu gives a finishing touch on that historical progression and takes it to the highest limit. That's why Mahaprabhu was required. His avatar was required. And of course, and also Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about so Madhvacharya, he actually gave the seed of devotion. Ramanuja, by his system of devotion, he actually blossomed it. He blossomed it. And then Nimbakacharya blossomed it a little more. So Nimbakacharya made it into a small plant. And then Vallabha system nourished that plant more and made it into a shrub. And then Mahaprabhu came and he actually nourished it, took care of it, and he made this shrub into a big tree and with fruits. That's how it goes. The whole idea is Madhvacharya actually gave the concept of liberation. Now before him, of course, Ramanujacharya came before him, but then the Ramanujacharya, he actually developed on the concept of liberation, and he gave a little insight into rasa of devotional service. And he said, well, Well, you can attain liberation through rasa. And then Bhakkacharya came and then he said, well, okay, that's fine. But then the rasa which you have, it is not so developed, it is not so explained in Ramanuja and Madhva system. So I'm going to explain it. What's rasa all about? So he explained rasa. And then Vallabhacharya came, he said, well, okay, Nimacharya explained rasa, but then the whole point is what, how do you experience that rasa? And Vallabhacharya says about Pushtimar. And then Madhva, and then Lord Chaitanya again, he says, okay, you can experience rasa, but to what limit it can go? Let's find the end of it. And then Mahaprabhu gave his system. So that's why Mahaprabhu was required to take the philosophy of devotion and to take the rasa of devotion and to take the sentiments of devotion to the ultimate level and then give it to us. I mean to say, you see the point, when Ramanuja was there, people were far more civilized than what we are today, far more cultured than what we are today, far more sensible and wise than what we are today. Now we are like animals in this age. We are out of control. We are savages. We are barbarians. We have no idea what is dharma. So Prabhupada even says, Mahaprabhu has given his system to those people who have not even heard the word dharma. What to say of understanding and practicing it? So at Ramanujara's time, that was like around 11th century. That is around 900 years back. People were far more. People were far more people. You know, that's the whole point. They were humans. And with Madhva, Nimbar, Ballabha, and now today, we are gradually, we have become animals. We have become atheists. So the whole point is, so you see the point. A philosophical understanding and the understanding of rasa is actually exponentially increasing. The graph is going up with all the preceding acharyas, and it comes to a summit, the highest level with Lord Chaitanya, of the philosophical explanation and the rasa and the sentiments. But the whole point is, on the other hand, the graph of people and the culture and the values is going down, and it comes to a very low level, even negative, like animals. So here's the problem. Mahaprabhu takes the system to the highest limit, but then he has to give the system to the lowest people with no understanding. Now, how to do it? And he did it. That's why he's called Namo Mahavadaniyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. He's called the most merciful incarnation because he did it. He was successful. He was successful. And the highest to the lowest, highest system to the lowest of people. He distributed love of God even to Chandalas. What's that all about? How do you do that? Love of God, Brahmara Durlabha Prem Sabhakara Jache. What was so rare for Brahma and Shiva, he just freely gave it to Chandalas. And who are these Chandalas? These are we. Don't think we are not Chandalas. We are Chandalas. It's not a person who's working in that street in a corner in that drain. And we are sitting in a hotel in a fashioned clothes, and we are Chandalas. Chandala means who is out of Vedic system, who is born out of lust, who has not undergone any samskaras, and is always thinking of sex and envy, and have no idea what scriptures want from us. He's not trained in dharma. He's out of Vedic system. That is Chandalas, and he has given prema to us. See, at least understanding of it and the way to achieve it all over the world. So that's why Mahaprabhu has to come, and that is why Mahaprabhu is called Namo Mahavadaniyaya. So he gave an understanding of Srimati Radharani's love, which is beyond all mundane conceptions of dharma, and also to people like us. Now, the whole point is, how did Mahaprabhu give it to us? Now answering this question will also answer the question why he's called Namo Mahavadaniyaya. That's the whole point. Now, we just talked why this incarnation was necessary. And I told it was necessary to bring the philosophical basis of devotional service to the highest limit, to bring the rasa to this highest limit, and to bring the sentiments of devotion to a deeper, to actually deeper layers, and show us the peak of the mountain. That's why this to actually complete a historical progression of devotion, Hegelian system, isn't it? The philosopher Hegel, he said historical progression is to be finalized and formed in perfection of society, perfection of culture, perfection of people. And Nietzsche said, yes, the whole history is there to find a Uberman, a Superman, a perfect man. Now, Mahaprabhu did it. Let's say that. Mahaprabhu actually finalized the historical progression and took it to the ultimate level of the historical position of devotional service. So, but then now here is the point. Mahaprabhu is called. Now the question comes. Mahaprabhu is called Namo Mahavadanyaya. Why? Why is called Namo Mahavadanyaya? Of course, one reason is because he showed the highest limit of devotion. That's one reason. But the main thing is he's called Namo Mahavadanyaya. I mean to say, if you say he showed the highest limit of devotion, he can be called as a philosopher, the greatest philosopher, greatest acharya. But then he's also, the adjective used is he's a most magnanimous philosopher. Why? Because he gave this philosophy to people. He gave a system, practical system to achieve the highest thing. He doesn't say the highest limit is there. You see the peak? Yes, I see the peak. Okay, stand here and see the peak. Click a photograph, go back. No. He said, you can go on the top and I'll show you the way. And that's why he's called Namo Mahavadanya. Each one of us who are Chandalas, I mean to say, at least me, who is absolute nonsense crap, if we can understand Lord Chaitanya and his teachings, we can attain the highest thing in this very life. That's what Prabhupada says. But the whole point is, what is his teaching all about? What system he gave so that we can reach the highest level, so that we can actually appreciate, at least see the highest limit of devotion, Srimati Radharani's devotion, and then achieve it. So, in other words, why he's called Namo Mahavadanya? So he's called Namo Mahavadanya. He's the most merciful incarnation because he gave a path on which we can walk and achieve the highest limit. Now, what is that path? And that path, Mahaprabhu explains, that path is, you can understand that path if you understand the personality of Lord Chaitanya. That's the whole point. Because he himself followed on the path. He showed the path, he followed it as a good teacher does. He came to teach. Show us the path and teach how to walk on that path. And he came and he said, okay, I'll show you. And what he was doing, that's what we have to understand. What he was doing. Prabhupada says, do as doing. And it's the same thing what Prabhupada was doing. He was doing what Nityan Prabhu was doing. What Nityan Prabhu was doing, what Mahaprabhu was doing. Because they were all acting to teach people. So what he was doing. If you understand that question, then you can understand what he came to give us. And if you understand that question, then you can understand how merciful he is. That is why he's called as Namo Mahavadanya. So what he was doing? Well, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita properly, if you read Ante Leela, Mathe Leela, if you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will know what he was doing. In the daytime, he was preaching and preaching and preaching and preaching. In the night, he was weeping and weeping and weeping and crying for Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna and listening about Krishna. In one line, that's the answer what he was doing. In the daytime, he was feeling separation from the Lord. In the daytime, he was serving people by making them understand and inspiring them to do devotion. In the nighttime, he was Krishna by offering him the mood of separation or love and separation. That's what he was doing. It's as simple as that, but that needs explanation. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he was doing, he was not just sitting in a place and doing nothing. That was not his way. What he was doing, he actually was interested in bringing a revolution. In fact, history books consider him as a revolutionary figure who brought revolution in Bengal and in devotional rallying. And he was a revolutionary. That's what he was doing. He was interested to change the system. He was interested to make the world upside down and stop this tsunami of Kali and actually bring people to the highest level of devotion. That's what his aim was. It was a pretty lofty aim, which was impossible to achieve. But Lord Chaitanya, we know, he is Krishna himself. He can do anything. But the whole point is he can do anything. But the whole point is he has to do it in such a way so that we can follow. That's the whole point. And that is the difficult part. So the first thing what he was doing, let's leave preaching, let's leave what he was doing in the night, offering separation. The first thing he was doing, he was interested in bringing revolution. And that's why he was dancing on streets. He was not dancing on streets because he was mad. Because he has nothing to do. There's some extra time. Because he was just a stupid person who's out of control and who can do anything he likes. No. He wanted to bring a mass revolution. That's why he was doing kirtanas on the streets with his associates. And that was pretty revolutionary at that time. You know why? Because you have to understand how this was revolution when you are in 15th century. You can't today you might not appreciate it, but when you're in 15th century, if you go back, that time was a big thing. It was such a big thing that people wanted to kill associates of Lord Chaitanya. They were making fun of Lord Chaitanya. Because at that time, this was a revolution. Nobody was chanting and dancing on the names of Lord Krishna in a mass congregation. That's the whole point. With musical instruments. Devotion was, okay, fine, you can be in your temple, you can sing some solo bhajans, and then you have to read Bhagavatam and do your worship of deity, that's all. Offer something. But this kind of thing, you get lakhs of people and then you are doing kirtans and on the streets, and then you're begging people to chant the names of God, especially chanting the names loudly. That was a big thing at that time, 15th century. 15th century, there were Brahmanas and there were Vedic scholars, and it was not allowed to speak any mantra openly. Mantra was to be kept secret. But here comes Mahaprabhu, he says, well, okay, let's chant, and you also chant in here, and this and that. Well, that was a revolution, and then he was initiating Shudras. He totally went against the caste system. He actually abolished it. His disciples were from all walks of life. They were Shudras, they were Chandalas, they were robbers, they were dacoits, they were Muslims. From all walks of life. It was unseen and unheard. That's what he was doing. He was interested to bring a revolution. That's what he wanted. He was opposed. He was threatened. His associates were threatened to be murdered. His movement had a great resistance in the society, but they did it in spite of all these facts. So that's what first thing he was doing. He wanted to bring a revolution. And the second thing he was doing was he wanted to educate people. You see the point? That's what he was preaching. He asked his his acharyas, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, to write books and then teach. Rupa Goswami opened a school in Vrindavan. So that's what he was doing. He was educating people. He was himself preaching everybody in the morning, in the daytime. And then he showed the way to achieve, way to appreciate Radharani's love. And he said, well, okay, fine, the way to appreciate Radharani love and the way to achieve it. I mean to say, so when we say achieving Radharani's love, it simply means appreciating her love. Appreciating her love is like achieving her love from so as far as Jivatma goes. Even if you can appreciate Radharani's love, that is beyond all achievements. And it is equal to saying you have actually achieved it. Even if you simply can understand something about it. Because that in itself is the rarest of things. So the third thing which he was doing was he was feeling separation from Lord Krishna. And because he was feeling separation, to actually relieve that separation, he was chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna mantra. So he taught us how to actually appreciate and reach that limit on the peak of mountain. How to do that? He said, cry, that's all. Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion, cry for Lord Krishna. Prabhupada says in this famous lecture, come on, I mean to say we have all forgotten that. Prabhupada says Hare Krishna mantra is a crying of a child for his mother. That's in America. When Prabhupada started the movement, one of the initial lectures. And he brings the concept right head on the radio. This lecture went on the radio. It's a cry of the child for mother. Now what's that? That is Mahaprabhu. That's what he was doing in the night. He was crying. Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion, learn this small secret to cry for Lord Krishna. But the whole point is to cry for Lord. That's the most difficult part. And for that, Mahaprabhu gave a system of Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti, which is explained in Nectar of Devotion. That's there. But the whole point is, the third thing he was teaching us how to cry. The whole point of crying is to actually offer the mood of separation to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna says, so many people in history, they have offered so many prayers to me. So many people in the history, they've offered so many sacrifices to me. But nobody has offered tears to me. And especially the tears of separation from me. I want that. I want that. That's the perfection of life. That's what God wants. Mahaprabhu said that's what he wants. That's what we are offering him. You can offer him fruits and flowers, patram pushpam phalam to him. That's what Krishna says. But Lord Chaitanya says, well, that's enough. I've got a lot of flowers, a lot of fruits. It's all there and it's all getting... my abode is full of flowers and fruits and water and it's there. And it's actually stinking and decaying. It's a joke, by the way, but I want something which nobody else has given. I've got bored of that. I want your tears. I want your separation from me. And Mahaprabhu actually gave evidence for that. Mahaprabhu says, yeah, that's what Krishna wants. Why? Because when Krishna was doing Ras Leela, he left gopis in between. And Mahaprabhu said, why did he leave them? And then he said, well, he left them because he wanted to see their tears and the love and separation. That's what he enjoys the most. And these three things Mahaprabhu was doing. He was interested in bringing revolution. And the second thing, he was educating. And the third thing is, he was crying in love and separation. He was offering his love and separation to Krishna. Now, this is what we have to do. He's a teacher. He's Acharya. And he's acting in a capacity of a devotee. And he wants us to follow him. In our own capacity, that's the whole point, but to follow him. And this is what we have to do. And that's why he's called Namo Mahavadanya. If we do these three things, we will be able to achieve Radharani's love. To see it, to understand it, to appreciate it, and achieve it. And that is the perfection of life. That is the highest limit of devotion. That's the gift which Mahaprabhu has come to give us. That's why it's called Namo Mahavadanyaya. He's given the process what to do. And the process is these three things. Now, the process is not just chanting Hare Krishna and 4 regulative principles. That's not the whole process. That is the foundation of the process. Yes, Prabhupada says chant 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. Yes, you do that. And then you will gradually understand devotion. Prabhupada says that. That is a foundation. I mean to say, even if you don't chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles, forget everything. That's a cement. That's a process. And then Prabhupada says, you keep on doing that and then you will understand Krishna slowly and gradually. You will increase in your realization. Throughout the Prabhupada writes that. And then you'll become Uttamadhikari. And then so many prayers will automatically come from your heart. So what Mahaprabhu was doing, if we start doing that and then we can, that is a process, and then we can actually understand how he's Namo Mahavadanyaya, because we'll be able to get a glimpse of the highest limit of devotion. So what we have to do, we must try to assist Mahaprabhu in bringing a revolution in the entire world. That's what he was assisting. That's what he wanted. That's what Prabhupada was doing. That was Bhakti Santa was doing. That's why they are there and we are we. We have to assist them to bring a revolution. That revolutionary spirit has to be there. And we have to educate people by preaching. We have to actually educate them, not just preach, not just give lectures. That's the whole point. We give lectures, but then the whole point is education. Education is a little different thing. It's a systematic spiritual training. So by the way, Prabhupada's ISKCON manifesto, the first point is to educate people at large in spiritual education. Prabhupada says that. In the in the manifesto of ISKCON, 7 or 9 points, whatever. So that is education, and the third point is that is something external service, and then there's an internal service which Mahaprabhu is teaching to develop love and separation from Krishna, to develop those emotions. So in the process of doing something external, we should not forget that there is an internal work to do also, and that is to develop our emotions and to develop love and separation. So Prabhupada says there's no question of separation without attachment to Lord Krishna, and there's no question of attachment without doing a substantial amount of service to him. So that's where Mahaprabhu says your devotion starts. Serve him under some guidance, with the aim of getting attached to the person whom you're serving. That's very important. Kriti sadhe bhavet sadhe sadhe bhava sadhana vidha. That's what is a definition of Vaidhi Bhakti. You practice, you serve Krishna with the aim to become attached to Krishna. Because if you forget the aim, then you can keep on serving him and you will not become attached to him. Because you don't want it. If you don't want it, you don't get it. So if you serve Krishna for money, you get money. If you serve Krishna for fame, you get fame. If you serve Krishna just for serving him, you get nothing. You just serve him, that's all. Because you're serving in mode of ignorance. You're just serving him mechanically. But you have to have some aim. The aim of serving is to become attached to him, and then you become attached to the person whom you're serving. That you have to keep in mind. And then you become attached, and the attachment condenses bhava santarana atma. Then that attachment converts itself into, then it will lead to separation. The love and separation. And then you can offer it to the Lord Krishna in the form of your tears while you're chanting. That is the perfection of life. That, when you can do that, when you can offer this love and separation in the form of tears to Lord Krishna, gradually through this process, then he will give you a glimpse of Radharani's love for Lord Krishna, the highest limit. and the gift which he has come to give. And then we will be able to really appreciate, yes, this is Namo Mahavadanyaya, who has given this gift to a person like me who is Chandala. So this is what Mahaprabhu was doing, and we are supposed to do that. So it's called Namo Mahavadanyaya. And tomorrow, today, whatever, Gaur Purnima, we can pray to him. Oh my Lord Chaitanya, please help me appreciate your contribution, your incarnation, what you have done, and how you have helped us to achieve the highest limit. You showed us the path, give us the energy and the power and the blessings to walk on this path and understand it and imbibe it, and not just watch standing on some footpath and watch and just standing there and miss the whole point. So give us energy, give us time, give us willpower to accept your gift. You are Namo Mahavadanyaya, but we don't even have the power to accept it. So give us that power. This is our prayer to Lord Chaitanya, and then the full moon of love will also rise in our hearts, and our life will be perfect. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Anybody wants to ask any other question, most welcome. There are so many things to do with Lord Chaitanya. I could have talked about Lord Chaitanya from the different angles, but this was nice. I gave some philosophical perspective, and I felt nice. Yeah. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Yeah.